Hey, I wanted to tell you a story about a lot of things that happened to me last week that were really, really dumb. That was a lot of hand, sorry. And I have so many mistakes just from last week alone that I really started thinking about why am I making so many mistakes? And I wondered what you guys do when you make a mistake. First of all, let's start with the breast cancer screening place calling me. When they leave a message, you call them back. And the lady was really nice. And she's like, we haven't seen you. And I'm like, that doesn't sound right. Really? Are you sure? And so she goes, I'm like, did I maybe go to another location? And she looked through because they apparently can tell everything that you've been doing for 2 years. And she was like, no, you haven't been here since 2016. And it's almost 2019, people. I haven't been to the gynecologist or the breast cancer screening place in 2 years. And I was like, wow, that seems like a really big mistake. Like, how did that happen? And also, where has the time gone? But I wanted to tell you, the mistakes just continued. I went to a funeral that I was speaking at 2 weeks ago, and I stood at the completely wrong place in the Catholic Church. Like, I stood where the priest stands, and the priest was like, no, you go over there. It felt like a really big, stupid mistake to make at that point. And so I've been thinking about the mistakes that I've been making lately and how I've been reacting to them. Another mistake I made was I went to a completely wrong location for a networking event last week, which they told you like a million times, don't go to the old place, don't go to the old place, don't go to the old place. This is where it is this time. I completely went to the old place, of course. And I'm not normally like this. I don't normally, screw things up like that, but I've been making a lot of mistakes lately. On Saturday, I completely missed an appointment. Like, it's on my calendar. I completely missed it. And the most ridiculous one, I went to Barnes & Noble last week to get a couple of books. And then I wound up staying there for 2 hours doing work, and I was enjoying myself. But when I went in, I tried to lock my car, but it wouldn't lock. Like, this new car just yells at me all the time for things, and I never know what I'm doing wrong. And I was like, oh, there must be an extra key in there. I'll just leave it unlocked. So I go into Barnes & Noble. I wind up spending 2 hours in there, and I come out. My car has been running for 2 hours. The reason that it wouldn't lock was because it was still on. And like I said, that's a lot of mistakes in 1 week to make. And some of it is just carelessness and not being present. But I want to talk about that at another time. What I want to talk about today is, what do you do when you make a mistake? Because if you're like me, I bet you make mistakes every single day. And I'm a recovering perfectionist, so making mistakes is a really big deal to me. I hate making mistakes. I want to be perfect because I want to help other people and I want to do it right, and I don't want people to think badly of me, but there are people who think badly of me, and I make lots of mistakes. I sent a message to somebody a couple of weeks ago, and I know that my tone was inappropriate and I meant it in one tone, but I'm pretty sure she took it in another tone, and that was a mistake. I make these mistakes all the time. An old me would be absolutely beating myself up about it. Like, you can tell that I'm thinking about it because here I am a week later talking to you about it. But I'm wondering what you do when you make a mistake and how you beat yourself up. Do you try to cover it up maybe? Do you talk to yourself in your head like, you're such a moron, I can't believe you did that again? And I wanted to share with you what I've been doing, which feels a lot better, but it's kind of funny. I'm just laughing. I got to let's go back to the church one where I'm standing where the priest stands. Now, I'm not Catholic, so apparently when you stand where the priest stands, that's a big no-no. You don't do that. But I went up to the people at the end afterward who were putting it out, who were the people in charge, and I was like, I'm so sorry, I just didn't know. And they actually apologized to me because it turns out they were supposed to show me where to go. But I laughed, and I still feel a little mortified about it, but it's funny. And when I got out to my car and I saw that it had been running for 2 hours, the first thing I thought was how lucky am I that this thing didn't get stolen? And also, you're such a dope. How funny is that? So I've been trying to find amusement in my mistakes. And I think that we don't tend to do that as women. And here's why. If we can laugh at ourselves, then we think, oh, we're just going to make more mistakes. Like, it's kind of like we're letting ourselves off the hook. Like, if I laugh at myself, that means I'm going to make more mistakes. But if I beat the crap out of myself, then I'll make fewer mistakes. And my question is, how has that been working for you? Is beating the hell out of yourself actually making you make fewer mistakes? Not for me. I mean, when I beat the hell out of myself, I still make just as many mistakes, but it's much, much, much more unpleasant. And additionally, it's also much more unpleasant for the people that I live with. I found that since I've started laughing at my mistakes and talking about them and telling people them, and I come home and we laugh about it versus somebody having to talk me off the ledge for an hour about how much gas I wasted or how irresponsible it was to leave my car running. Also, like the example at the funeral is a good one of, I really had to let go of what people cared about, like what people thought. I'm sure there were plenty of very Catholic people in that church watching me stand in the wrong place and who judged me for it. But I really can't do anything about that. I have to think it's funny. And if they can't think it's funny, then that sucks for them. Stop making your mistakes suck for you. Own it when you make a mistake. Fix it if you have to. Apologize when it's necessary. But your mistakes do not define you. And so many of my clients get stuck here. My clients are people who want to bring an idea to life. They want to manage time better. They want to have control over their lives. They want to see their own dreams come true. But this kind of like beating ourselves up is one of those things that keeps us stuck. And I train my clients a lot on this. So can you start to laugh at the silly things that happen to us? The fact that it's been 2 years since I've been to the doctor. How is that possible? I don't know. All I can do is fix it. Or that I went to the wrong location for the networking event. All I could do was text the woman and say, I'm on my way. And she was just as happy to see me when I got there. And it was a nothing thing. But old me would have beaten myself up about that for a long time. And the appointment that I forgot with my chiropractor, I just saw her yesterday and I apologized profusely. And she just patted me on the back and she said, it's okay. We were fine. And believe me, I will never let that happen again, or I will do my best to never let that happen again. But, when you own your mistake, it's so freeing. It's like shining the light on something, and people want to forgive you. People want you to not beat yourself up. And if you're surrounded by people who do want to beat you up and who do want you to feel badly, those aren't your people. You're not with the right people. If you are feeling a little overwhelmed by all the things that you have to take care of, I wanted to tell you I'm offering a free accountability group for the next 6 weeks. It's really to help you understand your relationship with time, how you manage time, and how to master time and what's in your way. We're going to be doing one little teeny tiny thing a day. It's not overwhelming. It's not a workshop. It's not a course. It's just an accountability group. And if that sounds interesting to you, I'll actually post the link in this video. But I'd love to have you there. It's free. There's literally no reason why you can't do it. And if you like this information and you want to be nicer to yourself because you really want to bring your idea to life, then please follow me. Like this video, share it with somebody. The more people that we can share this with, the nicer the world will be. When you can be nicer to yourself, then you can be nicer to other people. And so I'd love for you to follow me or subscribe so that you get notified the next time I do a video. I generally show up here about once a week for lives, mostly talking about some ridiculous thing that happened to me and how I hope it can help you in some way. I would love to hear in the comments, is there a mistake that you would love to just admit and get off your chest? Or what's the dumbest mistake you made last week that you were laughing at yourself about? I bet it couldn't be worse than leaving your car running for 2 hours, standing in the wrong place at a Catholic church, or completely forgetting that you haven't seen the gynecologist for 2 years. Let me know what it is. Thank you for joining me. I'm Jen Liddy, and I will hope to see you next week. Bye.